Hey folks, Sam Masu here from what? You just want to talk? Okay. Oh, you are tired of AI. You don't want to use AI anymore? Oh boy. This will be a bit of a problem, Like they say, it's the age of AI. It's changing how we live our lives. And, modern AI models and agentic workflows, it's drastically changing how we build software. But you know what? I see your point. Like, software development it's a science and an art. It's a craft that we have evolved over decades. And you are writing serious enterprise software. You need solid architecture. You want reliability and stability. So I get the hesitation. But let me ask you this: like, if you're writing code for a platform or a piece of UI that you don't know much about, how would you go about learning what code to write? Yeah, it sucks to read documentation, isn't it? So maybe there's a middle ground where you might be hesitant to using AI to generate code, but you could still be in your IDE benefiting from some of this latest stuff, right? So let's take a look. I am going to share my screen up here. All right, so platform.uno, that's where you can go learn about all the things we do. It's .NET, that's modern, and it's cross-platform. And single shared code base goes to mobile, desktop, web, and all the things. Solid framework and foundational things to build on. But if you start looking at what we do, yes, there's a lot of design and AI tooling. And if you are hesitant, let me show you where it can really help. You don't have to use AI; just stay in your IDE and benefit from it. So there's this standard called Model Context Protocol. And it's an industry standard that lets AI agents connect to contextual things that you might be doing in your enterprise, or documentation, which is really good at exposing some of those deeply contextual knowledge bases up to AI agents, and so they don't hallucinate. They can provide help that is very much grounded in the documentation. So we took some inspiration from this standard, and if you look at our docs, it's a lot. But again, let's walk you into what we called our implementation of Model Context Protocol. I'm going to bump up the fonts here, and essentially you'll see that we have a couple of things going. There can be a remote MCP server. This is the one that tells AI agents, like, this is the Uno Platform code base. Here's how you initialize yourself to help the developer building it. And then there are app MCPs, which are running locally, and they are giving AI agents like eyes and hands, so they can interact with your app and click on things and type on things. So maybe you don't want to go to that level, but just the documentation part of it is so beneficial, so that you don't have to visit this site over and over again to learn about new things. So let me show you what this looks like. So this is the same experience across any IDE. So, VS Code, Visual Studio, Rider, Anti-Gravity, Cursor, you name it, it's all the same experience. So I have a very simple Uno Platform app open here. And you will see that, like, right off the gate, it's noticing a few things, that I have an Uno Platform app. I can run some additional checks. My solution is good. My dev server is running, which is kind of the link between your running app and your IDE. But let's open up our AI chat window here. Again, you're not using AI agents perhaps, but you're just trying to use AI to look at docs, so you don't ever have to leave the IDE. So, if I am clicking on the settings here, you'll see that AI now sees a couple of things because it's an Uno Platform app. It sees my Uno MCP Tools, which is the agentic initialization and doc search, doc fetch. And it sees all of the app MCPs, which is all of my interactivity. Just those two things are enough for me to have some grounded context, right? So the choice of AI model doesn't really matter. Use whichever one that you find useful. But let me ask AI here. So do you have access to Uno Platform MCP tools, right? So we are essentially asking AI, like, hey, are you grounded enough to be of some help? And maybe I don't want AI to write code, but at the very least, I want some help so that I'm not hitting the docs over and over again. Like, what if I'm on a piece of a UI? Like, I'm wanting to know what are all the properties that my text block has. So instead of me going to run to the docs every single time, maybe AI agents can help. So right up front, you can see like it's saying, hey, I have all of these documentation tools, and I have some application testing and UI tools at my disposal. Now, this particular app here is a counter app that's written with MVVM design pattern that works particularly well with C# and XAML code bases. But if you're coming from other web development ecosystems, maybe you have done some reactive things, you might be more drawn to a different design pattern. And we actually have a very good implementation of that. So this is actually called MVU, Model View Update. And you might want to know, like, how do I do that with Uno Platform? So let's ask AI, right? Again, we're not asking it to generate any code. So let's see, please tell me, got to say please, tell me about MVUX pattern with Uno Platform, right? So I'm never leaving my IDE. I am, quote unquote, not doing AI, but I'm just still using some tools. So right up front, it says, hey, I have a doc search. Would you like me to use it? Because then I can go search on Uno's docs. I would not hallucinate. So you can allow this once, or, and then it's done for the workspace. So now it's trying to do a search, and it finds a few things that are helpful to the prompt that I gave, and it's trying to now fetch the docs. So let's go ahead and allow that as well. Again, you can allow this, once for the whole workspace or once for the whole user experience. So then it's not going to ask you over and over again. So it found something. And now it's saying, hey, from the docs, this is what it looks like. This is an MVU pattern that's also extended, and looks like you can do data binding on it. And it's a much shorter loop. And MVUX is particularly well suited for modern reactive applications, blah, blah, blah. And it's giving me some code, which is nice, right? Because then this is where I didn't have to use my time to go read up the docs. So let's take a closer look at what it gave me. So it's saying, hey, it's similar to MVVM, but we are using immutable records. This is how we are doing data binding. And let's look at some of the code that it gave me here. It's talking about loading weather data and fetching weather data and binding it. So I did a search separately. Let's go back to my browser. So this is actually the MVUX page that we have for Uno Platform. And it shows you, what's the benefit if you wanted to switch this to MVUX pattern. Here's a comparison to MVVM. And look at that. That's the load weather data. And here's binding to weather data. So your AI tool actually looked up this exact piece of documentation and tried to summarize. So instead of you having to read this whole page and figure it out, it actually gave you a summary of exactly what you needed to know, which is really nice. And this is powered by something called Docs MCP, which is essentially a model context protocol, but it's an implementation right up here in our docs. It is these two things that it uses, the Uno Platform Docs Search and Uno Platform Docs Fetch. So just these two things alone is going to save you a whole bunch of time where you're not using AI to generate any code. You just want to summarize and know exactly what the documentation says without you having to go read the whole thing, right? So if you are hesitant about AI, trust me, I hear you, but just leverage it to cut down on your dev time a little bit, and stay in your IDE. This experience is the same in any IDE of your choice. Now, this was again just me asking a question, but now that it has found some answers, if I now ask AI to actually go switch off my MVVM app to MVUX, it will actually do a pretty darn good job. But again, that's a little bit of code generation. That's up to you how much you want to, get into it. But if you let AI agents, they will be really, really helpful. And at a bare minimum, use our docs MCPs to do some searching and filtering and bringing that contextual grounded docs up to the latest updates to the docs right inside of your IDE. So I hear you if you're hesitant on AI, but use certain things, certain standards that will help you be more efficient at your job, right? So that's it from me. Maybe a fellow AI doubter at times, but you got to go roll with the times here a little bit. AI can really help you be more productive. So that's it from me. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you can get over the roadblock, perhaps a mental one here, to just try things out with AI. Use our docs MCPs to bring the context of all of the knowledge of building Uno Platform apps right inside of your IDE. So hope you have fun, and we'll see you on the next show.